Lo que tenemos aquí pinta bien, casi hablábamos antes de magia, bueno, pues hoy también vamos a hacer magia, hasta con truco, ¿verdad? De poder desvelar todo lo que va a pasar a continuación. A lo largo de estos días se ha hablado de muchos temas y uno de los que en el fondo también ha estado en las conversaciones es, y además que también es algo que está en el ser humano desde tiempos inmemoriales, es cómo nos relacionamos con las máquinas, ¿no? Y cómo logramos transmitir lo que tenemos en nuestra mente a una máquina y lograr que esa máquina haga lo que nosotros deseamos y queremos. Y en ese proceso estamos avanzando y mucho. Hoy vamos a ver una gran muestra de ello porque vamos a tener la oportunidad de conocer cómo y en qué instante se encuentran los dispositivos de interfaz humana, que es HID. Tenemos un auténtico experto que nos lo ha de contar y cómo van evolucionando de manera absolutamente sorprendente y que nos están facilitando la producción audiovisual, aquello de la ergonomía también y esa eficiencia y eficacia. Como digo, un auténtico experto que hoy tiene diferentes roles, es jurado, hoy también viene como director, artista de animación 3D y realidad virtual, galardonado por activa y por pasiva desde Alemania hasta aquí. Hoy contamos con Eric Giessmann. It's a pleasure to have you here. Please go ahead. Bye.
Something. Oh, I need to set up something very special for you. That's why I rushed so fast from lunch to here. And finally I got it working, so I'm lucky. And let's cross our fingers that it's still staying working until when it's time. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about myself, because that will make understandable why I made the decisions I made. And let's start with myself. So I'm Eric Giessmann, 3D artist, specialized in virtual reality. I also worked on a couple of animated short films in the past, and I'm also doing the animation. Not all of it, sometimes I also give it to other people, but I like to do an animator myself as well. So I started with some animated short films, which I created the traditional way, like 2D stylized 3D animation, basically. And then I discovered virtual reality around 2018, when it really popped up for the first time. And for the first time, we were able to create, like painting style, 3D stuff, but like in virtual reality space. And I did one of the first virtual reality animated short films. It's called Cochlea-Implant, and it was very well received because it was about my own experience with cochlear implants, because I'm wearing them. And people often ask me what it is actually. So it's not a hearing aid, it's basically part of my body now. So I'm quite of a robot, some hybrid human now. And it was well received also in the community of the deaf people, because I'm deaf myself, right, basically. And after that, I created a small artist collaboration with another virtual reality artist. We called ourselves that for the first time. And we made virtual reality films, workshops, and we also gave live paintings. So it's basically some kind of performance. I'm wearing the headset and then I'm painting and everybody of you is watching. So, and around that time, I think 2020 or so, Meta contacted me because he saw what I was doing on Facebook, for example. And they were quite interested, and they asked me if I could pitch concepts for animated short films. And so I pitched 3 ideas, and they said, we want all of them. And it was cha-ching. Okay, so we created these 3 short films, and each of them is about 4 to 6 minutes long, I think. And each of them has a production time of about 6 months or even a little longer. But until then, there existed no pipeline yet, right? So we needed to find out what the pipeline is in general. So it's basically you have like quill in the beginning, and then you have quill in the middle. It's like the from the blocking stage to the more advanced rigged kind of stuff. While the rigging is not really like the rigging in Blender with iCase or so. It's quite simple. It's more like with After Effects or so. And then afterwards you have the final touches with which we wanted to have also in that kind of stop motion look, which now is like quite easier with AI, but a couple of years ago it still was a lot of work. And to show you a little bit about the storyboarding process, we just did the storyboarding also in virtual reality.
Positions. Also the sound here is indicated in 3D space. And I much better can put myself into the position and emotions of the characters.
Right. Okay. And I just now want to show you a brief excerpt from my show reel, and it's coming now. Well, I see that you just see my side notes. It wasn't supposed to be. So I'm just gonna switch it for a second. Luckily, that's not the main part of my presentation. It's just a small one. Otherwise, I really would have messed it up. Right, so let's start from here. Switch. Okay, so after that, I continued as a lead animator and on a virtual reality production called The Little Mouse for a production company. Also something like 17 minutes Unity Quill animated mixing piece. And it's looking like this.
A little mouse with one obsession: to become somebody. Convinced that she was better than everyone else, her drive for success had twisted into frustration and anger.
All right, so after that project, everything that I learned so far teach me a little bit that automation changed creation, but interaction remains human. Especially these days where AI taking over some jobs, right? I still have the feeling that we, at some point, we as humans still have the need to interact with something, right? So we still want to be able to make choices our own, right? We don't let the AI do anything, right? We still want to be able to do it. And we had that when I was working on The Little Mouse. 3D, who of you is a 3D animator? Has ever tried 3D animation? Point up. Okay. Who of you is stop motion animator? Okay, that's 2. I count 2. So you know how much work it is, right? And you know, especially with 3D animation, that everything is going on top of each other. You have like hundreds of controls in your rig, and you have hundreds of curves on top of each other. So it looks a little bit like this, right? You always shift your camera so that you have a better understanding about the stereoscopic part of your rig. And you see there are like thousands of curves on top, and you don't get it at all. So you basically need to be a scientist. You're less an artist anymore, right? So I still have the feeling. So, and it's basically also because we are still working with this kind of device, right? It's a mouse. That said, what do we have else? We have, for example, this guy. And I know not everybody is an actor themselves, right? You're animators, you maybe know how stuff is going on in 3D space, how it should be animated, but you probably are not very capable to do it with your own body. So I have it at least. So I dropped that part and looked for other possibilities, like for example this thing. It's nice so far, we already have it included in the virtual reality headset, but it's still, you know, you don't have anything to touch, you just touch air, right? So there are other things, of course, other developers, smart people, try to invent something like this, and also where you have at least the feeling that you touch something. So when you grab something, you have a resistance, and somehow it should work. I tried it once, it didn't work for me. Probably also because there's too much setup beforehand. So I was thinking about something else. So what else is possible? And I was thinking about something like this, like something more physical. So what exactly is it? It's the inverted robot. I call it the human input device. And humanizing the animation pipeline with tangible animation. The HID is a case study about how to translate physical input into digital data. Quite easy to say. Takes some time until it made click for me. So I was first was researching, and you already have something like this from 1993, where the guys from Jurassic Park basically invented something similar. It was called the DID, Dino Input Device. And it really was called like that. So quite easy. It never went into the film. So we never really, as audience, we didn't see it worked out, unfortunately. I would have liked to see how the T-Rex would have looked like as a 3D puppet. Maybe interesting, nobody knows. And, oh yeah, let's skip that for a second. Right, so we have other projects, similars, but I tried to find out, do they still exist? Until 2018, there was something like this, but it was in Japanese, and I didn't speak Japanese. I still tried to contact these guys, and I found one of these puppets on eBay. But the guy basically told me that this thing is not working anymore. So he just said, no, yeah, I'm not really sure. And I said, no, I don't really want to spend 800 euros on not really sure. So I didn't buy it. And yeah, in the end, I wanted to have something more that everybody, every 3D artist can use, so multi-platform. And I wanted to have something low cost and robust. And I wanted to include a snapshot workflow. I'm going to tell you more about that part later. Maybe you don't know it yet, what I mean with that. And I wanted to have something modular so that you can basically adjust it depending on your needs, right? You have different characters, and they have maybe additional arms or a tail or whatever, and it should be something like this. So until 2025 or even 6, nothing really was available so far, at least nothing similar that you can buy. So I felt a little bit like this guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I love that movie. And was going back to my Lego time when I was younger, of course, 20 years ago already, because that was the only knowledge I had about that topic generally. So I'm not a developer at all. I don't know how to code. I don't know how to put these these models together, but it just started with something, right? Just bought some stuff, and these are like action puppets. I don't know the name anymore, but you know it probably. And the next step was I was trying to buy some sensors. And obviously, I also dumped away many because I just connected minus was plus and plus was minus, and everything exploded in my hand. So yeah, and I also did some 3D printing. That was something I enjoyed because I had some, you know, modeling knowledge, and that's always fun to make these kind of parts. And this is it, right? I have it here, so now it's time to present. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Okay, just, so maybe not the next Steve Jobs here, but looks like an iPhone, right? Okay, let's see. All right, so I first showed it to 3D artists. And this is what I said.
Überhaupt gar nicht Maus und Tastatur braucht.
Genau, das mein Ziel.
Also Layout ist ja genau das, was ich brauche. Ich brauche nur einzelne Posen, ich muss die schnell machen können.
Ja.
Das ist einfach zu bedienen, es funktioniert einwandfrei, es ist schnell. Wie viel Zeit vergeht, um das Timing irgendwie richtig zu kriegen, und damit wird es, glaube ich, auf jeden Fall sehr hilfreich werden.
Okay, what's going on next? So I received nice feedback from them, and I went ahead and tried to just check out if it's possible to easily just set up it anywhere. You know, I was in a train going to my atelier and just put it on the Wi-Fi hotspot on my mobile phone, and this is what happened. Yeah, basically it's working. So yeah, next I went to some guy, let's start with it. Some guy was reaching out to me because he saw my posts on on Facebook, Instagram these days. And yeah, he is basically a stop motion animator, and I know probably not everybody here knows what it is. So I'm going to show a video soon, but his basic core feedback was we need something to physically interact with, and I agreed. So this is stop motion, the process of create stop motion films. And you see it's kind of stylized, but I like it. So I also want to have it in 3D animation, of course. And this is his feedback.
Potenzial, nicht nur irgendwie, weil das jetzt für die Animationswelt normal ein Vorteil ist, sondern das hat auch auf dem Weg dahin, glaube ich, das geil. Das ist ja was irgendwie, so eine Stop-Motion-Gemeinde, die sieht dann, dass da jemand dran arbeitet und dass das irgendwie analog ist, und auf einmal treffen sich da zwei Welten und auch spüren, wenn ich was bewege.
Dann kriegen wieder richtig Bock auf dieses reale, echte, was zum Anfassen, was zum Sehen. Das ist so ein bisschen eine Kunstform, weil du drückst hin auf diesen Knopf, du hast direkt einen Keyframe, du kannst super schnell animieren.
Dass wir als Animatoren das einfach lieben, die Puppe mit einer Hand komplett fühlen zu können und mit der anderen zu animieren.
Okay.
Ja, weil das spielt einfach eine Wahnsinnsrolle in der Haptik. Es ist eine ganz andere, irgendwie, wie sagt man, ganz anderer Bezug zu der Puppe, als wenn ich die so als Ganzes erfassen kann mit einer Hand. Der Vorteil daran liegt, dass das halt alles in einer Puppe ist. Ja, das ist schon ziemlich geil.
Right. So initial feedback was very positive, but it also showed up some limitations. So I went ahead and tried to make some solutions for make better parts, make more stable parts, because his first criticism was that he told me that it's not stable enough. So this is a process, still going on process these days. I'm still trying out to what is the best possibility to make it more stable. And also what he showed up was that it, until then, wasn't possible to have fixed degree of freedom. And 6 degree of freedom means like that you not only have this, right, you also have this movement. back and forth translation. And it usually depends on a complex system like a camera system or that system that you know from virtual reality devices. And it's also possible to have inside-out tracking so that everything is inside. And I wanted to have something that is inside because then it's easier to put it somewhere. You don't need to set up so much. All right. So I found out it's possible, and I'm working on it right now, but it seems very promising so far. And I basically made it with a camera, which is connected here at the lower part of the device. And then you have this tracking board, and then you can shift around the position. Okay, and now it becomes even more interesting. So is it possible, or I asked myself, what is if I connect it to virtual reality, see my figure in stereoscopic directly and can move it at the same time with my fingers. I have physical touch to it. So I made it possible.
Place the 3D model to the exact place where my input device is, and I just put my controllers down. When I manipulate it, you can really see the adjustments right away in stereoscopic virtual reality. It really feels very, very nice, very intuitive. I can also go with my hand around my character, and it really nicely stays in place. I can shift the height and manipulate here everything, right?
Okay. So what are the use cases for this, actually? So especially I think it's possible to show other people how to do stuff. So in the learning education sector. Then of course in the storytelling performance sector where you're basically like this on stage and to have your puppeteer and control some figure on the screen. And then you can also use it for the museum sector, cultural heritage and so forth, to recreate the action of historical figures, characters. And as you can see in the end, it's not, cultural heritage requires understanding. And I think not only representation, and that's why I think interaction is a key design challenge in XR as well. And the fourth use case, of course, the one where I am coming from for the professional industry sector. So, yeah, to let professional 3D animators and also stop motion animators work with that tool to create animations. And I especially think that it's interesting for the part in the beginning where you do like sculpting, posing things, posing something for the beginning which goes very quickly. You have it within a few seconds, it's done, right? And then you already have a starting point. And the second thing, which is definitely coming these days in the future shortly, or already exists even, is to combine it with AI, so that you basically block it out, block your 3D animation, pose 1, pose 2, pose 3, pose 4, and then the AI is calculating anything between, right? So this is something. So yeah, to close it up, the HID is an example of how to move forward from abstract interfaces to physical embodied movement. Right, thank you. I just because we still have a couple of minutes before everybody rushes out, I just want to give a small demo, right? So we still have time, right? Okay. And I also keep that here for a couple of seconds because everybody is saying nobody knows that you exist on Instagram. Why don't you show it? So I just keep it here for a few seconds and then I'm going to show. Oh, you have it? Okay. Right. So in this case, so this is, oh, you can see it. Should close the presentation. I hope I don't close the wrong window. Okay, is now disconnected or this? Because yeah. Okay, and I also have to. It should actually show the camera, all right? I think you can see the device, right? So I just turn the device around now because if it's facing towards me, it's better for me to animate. And you already see that it's connected, right? So here we have the Sesame Street again. So, right. I hope that I don't disconnect it accidentally from the power source. And now you can see it's almost in real time, which for us is not too important because we, at this point, I'm happy with a little delay. However, you can see that we basically have this 6-degree axis. So first the 3-degree of freedom, like here. And then it measures the height towards the board itself, towards the ground here, so that I can basically also do something like this, right? And I can now also shift it. The table is a little small here, so it's difficult to show, but when I shift it like this, you see it should also go to the side, right? Like this. And there are now, all the joints are tracked. And when I now want to start, I just say, basically, start and reset. I now go to reset all. So this is now reset, so it's a default pose, right? And you see it's working pretty nicely. And I, of course, have also a mouse. You see, I can open up it, close it, and what else? Turn around like this. And you also can decide about virtual joints, because, for example, when you have your shoulder joints, and the shoulder joints, when they do like this, also the clavicles usually go a little bit higher. So there is no physical clavicle here, but in the script, it's a virtual joint, so it's connected somehow. So you don't need to do that yourself. So it takes also part of the work away from the animator in that sense. And now, actually, I just wanted to show you the coolest part, which is the snapshot function, right? So when I now want to keyframe it, I just decide with the toggle here to go in my timeline to the right side. You see that there's happening something in the timeline, and it shows me the keyframe. So I'm now on frame 50. And if I now just press this button, so this specific pose now is captured entirely, So all the joints, like the 100 joints, within a second you have a perfect pose. So I go now further to another frame and say, now this guy wants to get the cookie. So I just make another keyframe, go to the next pose. He's looking toward the cookie. Go to the next pose. Goes closer. I just disable the hide function for a second. Hide, because it was just distracting. So go to another pose. Next keyframe. The guy is opening his mouth. And go further. Right. Like this. And of course you can spend many hours in this process to make it clean. I'm just compressing the time a lot. And he is biting into it. The next frame. See if I still can match the cookie. Right, so everything is now captured, and if I go back, I should see the animation. So I also can now, of course, switch between that mode and just say edit mode. And now, if I hit play, it should play the animation in the specific, Yeah. All right, are there any questions?
In the case that you are working on animation, so what happens if you, by accident, you lose your pose on is there a way from reseeing or recalibrate or this pose, or you have to just go from scratch again, or while you are animating, by accident you just slap your figure out?
Until now you need to recalibrate, I think. But I definitely will create some kind of safe pose function. I often have, when people ask, so when I just keep it and want to work on it the next day, that's a similar question, right?
Yeah.
So it's until now you need to match the pose again, right? So the best thing now is that you bring it in default pose, hit the calibrations again, and then with onion skinning on, you can bring it to that specific position again. So that's how it is working now.
No, so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's any plan to commercialize this device or to make it to the public? Like,
Can you repeat the question? Yeah, good question. Good question. So yeah, it's at the moment it's obviously a prototype state, and during the course I also found out how much work it can be in every part of it. So what you see here is basically just the tip of the iceberg, and everything underneath is like the coding and stuff. It takes like a lot of time as well. So I underestimated it, but I knew from the beginning that this is a long-term project. So it's not something that you will be able to buy next year. So it takes time to develop it and make it in such a way that everybody can at least be happy. and that it's stable enough. But I also would have a question in return. So if this device would be available for under 500 euro, would you buy it? Hands up. Okay, if this device would be buyable from 500 to 1,000 euros, would you buy it? Okay, that's nice. That's good to know. We can exchange numbers. Right. Okay. Yeah, thanks.
I was wondering, are you also considering doing it like actually in reverse at the same time as well? I mean, this will make it 100 times harder, I guess, but that the robot itself or the puppet is also, for example, if you make a pose in 3D, that it also makes the physical puppet try with like robotics, try to get towards that pose as well, which would solve like a bump, of course, or these types of things. Yeah, have you considered that?
Sorry, what was the question?
So like if it's like also works in reverse, so like if you're maybe, for example, you add a pose in digitally and the robot has like motors. No, like if the puppet itself has motors inside of it that can adjust itself towards the pose that is digitally as well. I can say you messaged that.
I think it's yeah. Yeah, I think it's possible at some point.
I mean, it will make it all crazy hard, I think. Like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any more questions?
Hello. Thanks for the talk and your presentation. Just I'm seeing that the puppet have one proportion, and the sorry, I forgot to bring my flashcards, so my English is a bit rusty today. So the character have different proportions from the Muppet you made. So I feel that this is a kind of challenge to animate with more exaggerated proportions, like really cartoony stuff. How do you manage this? Or how? I don't know if I explain anything.
Sorry, I have this cochlear implants. I just.
Okay. I mean that the.
It's okay. I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
The question is about the proportions of the device, that it has particular proportions, but the characters have different ones, and sometimes if you design a character that is very exaggerated, like cartoonish, how would it adapt the movement to different proportions?
Yeah. Also, good questions. I think at this point, we should go with what we have. In the future are planning to do it to make it more modular, so that you probably also have smaller legs or additional arms or something. But it's also kind of complicated. So I just try to keep it open. I first try to make make additional connections to it, so that it's possible to add things or detach things. And if the question is more about how does it feel when you have a character with shorter legs, then I need to say it's not too important. You still can animate a character with shorter legs with this one. It does make a difference for the feeling. For example, this guy has shorter legs, and I don't care, because I'm looking most of the time when I'm animating with it. I didn't animate so much yet. It's just basically the second time, but I have the feeling that I'm looking not on this. I'm looking on my character at the screen, and so my hands are always here. I never leave my hands to some other device, and my eyes are always looking towards this character. So in that sense, it's okay to animate a different character. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm fine.